The legacy of the colonial experience and the competition between development and dependency-oriented models of economic strategy remain very much alive in Latin America today. Let's consider two examples, a so-called leftist or nationalistic example and a rightist or developmental example. On the leftist side, consider Bolivia. Here's Bolivia, a landlocked country, one of only two landlocked countries in South America, Bolivia along with its neighbor Paraguay. And in the case of Bolivia, having the lowest standard of living of any country in Latin America save Haiti. The country is divided into two major portions. In the west, in the Andes, an Amerindian majority population, and in the east, in the lowlands, a Creole-dominated society with large haciendas and the bulk of the natural gas resources of the country. Appealing to the Amerindian population, Evo Morales was elected president first in 2006 and then again re-elected in 2009. By appealing to the interests of the impoverished majority, Amerindian majority of the country, and blaming the country's problems on exploitation by the West, the United States, and the international economic order. Morales turned back 2 decades of history of Bolivia, in which Bolivia sought economic development in collaboration with the United States and with the international capitalist community, and instead asserted a more nationalistic, insular, and leftist approach to economic development. Morales himself came to power as a leader of the coca farmers, the producers of coca, which many in North America associate with the production of cocaine, but in Bolivia is considered an acceptable stimulant, either chewed or drunk in tea. And Morales, by championing the coca farmers, has also carried out a pro-nationalistic policy that led to the ousting of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency and the U.S. Agency for International Development, both of which were devoted to rooting out coca production and advancing the Bolivian economy on an American model. This illustration shows Native American miners, that is to say, these are people working in the mines in western highland areas of Bolivia, mining for export what is now the principal mineral export of Bolivia, zinc. And you'll notice the bulge in their cheeks. They are chewing coca leaves to overcome the boredom and hunger of work in the mines. Morales has used his presidency to advance the interests of the Amerindian majority, to provide extensive public services, and in order to finance that, to nationalize the major industries, in particular the export of minerals and natural gas, as well as telecommunications and other national industries. In foreign policy, he has allied himself with the so-called leftists of Latin America until his death in March of 2013. This group was led by Hugo Chavez, pictured here with Morales at a rally, and also includes such figures as the Castro brothers of Cuba, Daniel Ortega of Nicaragua, and Rafael Correa of Ecuador. Morales made headlines recently by offering asylum to Edward Snowden, the American who exposed the secrets of the National Security Agency and was subsequently held in Moscow pending his access to asylum. And Morales, not surprisingly, has offered Snowden asylum in Bolivia, further alienating the United States. Well, a different approach has been taken in Brazil. Brazil is also a country that has been perennially marked by inequality, by racial divisions, and by the sale of raw materials, all characteristic features of traditional Latin American post-colonial societies. But here is the new Brazil, the Brazil that not of the favelas or shanty towns of Sao Paulo, but of the bright lights of Sao Paulo and Rio. This is a Brazil that is surely exploiting the natural resource advantages of Brazil, in particular in petroleum and natural gas, as indicated by Petrobras, or the Brazilian National Petroleum Company, that is exploiting new fields off the coast of Brazil, but is also moving increasingly to the manufacture of high-end, high-value-added projects, such as airplanes. Embraer of Brazil is now the world's third leading producer of commercial aircraft. Brazil also makes computers, automobiles, and has other high-end manufactured products, as well as a banking and service industry. This transition was marked for many years by the leadership of Luiz Lula da Silva, a man associated with Brazil's rise as one of the BRICS, or Brazil, Russia, India, and China, the leaders of the developing world. And now, since her election by Dilma Rousseff, now president of Brazil, and pictured here with President Obama. Brazil's rise to prominence was rewarded by Brazil being named the host of the 2014 World Cup and the 2016 World Olympics. And Brazil was very much considered a poster child for the emergence of the new economies. However, we're reminded by the riots that occurred in Brazil in June and July of this year that Brazil remains a deeply divided, impoverished country with deep and unresolved social and economic problems.